a quick synopsis of what is Althorp?
Well, Althorp is a sort of, I think, to me, a distillation of 500 years of one family's collecting. It's a house which my family built in 1508, and the contents are now available, have been for the last few years, through Althorp Living History, which is a sort of a collection of some of the more popular pieces and some of the grander pieces, as well as the more everyday ones. A huge range, actually, that have been chosen by Theodore Alexander. We have 650 pieces that we have produced, and I've never had to veto one. They've all been exactly as I would hope. The original, when they looked at it around the house originally, the first 3 days they were there, they came away with 10,000 images of things they wanted to work with. So this could run and run, I guess.
Every piece has a story to be expected. I'm sure your favorite might change from time to time.
Do you know, you're right, it does change a little bit, but the Washington chest is one of my favorites. Okay. It's just such an easy, livable piece. In fact, I use it, the original one has got my tennis gear in at home. And I do think that's the joy of furniture. I mean, of course, you know, you're buying these pieces, you can use them and enjoy them. They're not museum pieces, they're just beautiful. I realized a long time ago why this collection works. It's because everyone knows when somebody passes away in a family, the next people who come in look at what they want to keep, what they want to get rid of, and what they want to change. And I'm the 18th generation of my family, so each of these pieces has been through a very thorough selection committee once every generation to see if it still should be part of the house's collection. So I think that's why these things look good to our eye now in the 21st century. They're sort of classical, the lines just look right. And there are a lot of people I've met who collect Althorp and have quite a lot of pieces. I met a woman who had 36 pieces, through to people who may have one or two just as accent pieces in a room which may have a more contemporary feel.
The proceeds from Theodore Alexander, can you tell us how they help your family business, really?
Yes. So what happens with the house? It's a big old thing. It's 90 rooms, and as I say, it's 500 years old. So it needs a lot doing to it. And in the 20-odd years I've been in charge of it, I put a new roof on, redone the exterior, the plumbing, the heating, pretty much everything, redecorated every room. And all the proceeds that come to me out of this venture get ploughed straight back into the house. And I like to think that's a fair relationship, because for 5 centuries the house has looked after the furniture, and now the furniture's paying its dues.
And quite a feather in Theodore Alexander's cap. You've been approached by other companies in your lifetime?
Yes. I mean, to be honest, I never approached anyone. Okay. I've just been approached. There were other companies who came along, and I thought, well, I'm not sure about this. But I never had any doubt with Theodore Alexander. Paul Maitland-Smith, who was the boss at the time, is this sort of creative genius, and he convinced me straight away this was what he wanted to do, almost as his swan song, as a sort of premium end to their product line. And that's how it's worked out. I mean, they're very easy to deal with.
As far as caring after Althorp, I mean, you inherited it when you were very young.
Yes.
The learning curve?
Yes. Well, my relationship with Althorp, the house, has changed a lot over the years. When I used to go there as a child with my sisters and stay with my grandparents. And my grandmother was very sweet and gentle and loving. My grandfather was really quite fierce. And we used to slightly dread going there because, you know, you're always doing something wrong. And then during my father's time, I got to know the house a bit more. But I didn't know it very well. And I inherited when I was 27, and I had twins on the way, and a 2-year-old child. So my first job was to make it a livable home for them. And I hope I've done that. And certainly all my kids, I now have the grand number of 7 children and 2 stepchildren, and they descend on Althorp with, I think, quite a lot of enjoyment quite regularly. So it has retained that air of being a family home. Because of the way Britain's been over the last 50, 60 years, a lot of families had to give up their houses. We're one of the very few where it's still in private hands, and that's down actually to my grandfather. There was a period in the middle of the last century where the income tax rate for him was 98%, but he kept it going, which was quite heroic, really. It's been a lot easier for me, and it's been a lot of fun. I've always loved history. It's what I majored in at university, and so to be surrounded by it has been a great privilege.